Hi, today we're going to be looking at something new. There's a composer by the name of Nathan Ost, and some of you may be familiar with him. He's written some very interesting things and some very useful things for trumpet players. And he's written 2 books of Lip Flexibilities. And I find these to be very valuable, so much so that even though it's late in the day, it's after 5 o'clock, and I haven't yet practiced, and that's unusual for me, but I got busy doing other stuff and I didn't get around to it, so I'm going to be warming up. And I like to use these to warm up. For some people, these would be a really bad way to warm up because they might make some people very tight. For me, they help me to get loose, and getting loose is one of the main things that I'm trying to do when I warm up. So I'm going to make some suggestions as we go along. These are simple, but they're not easy to do in a very refined manner. And I hope you have as much fun with them as I do. I definitely recommend that you get a hold of the books. This is from Volume 2, Number 1. And what you have here is some very fluid patterns. I'll go ahead and play a little bit. Now, I just decided to go ahead and play it all the way through in one breath. A lot of things, as trumpet players, I hope you're aware of this, there's a lot of stuff going on. And we may be concentrating on one thing or on a few things, trying to manage things. We might notice the pitch on notes, or we might notice the feel, my lips feel stiff, or I didn't get a good breath, so there's a tremendous amount of activity, mental activity that's here. But I find that one of the most helpful things, and this is what's useful about these particular books by Mr. Ost, is they're simple musical patterns, and they have a kind of a character to them. And if you can get in the mental place where you're just trying to feel the musical effect of these, then they're much, much easier to play. So I'll just give you what I'm getting out of these. You hear a tonic. If I loved you. Interesting. We only got 12 chromatic notes to play with. Of course, in Indian music, there are a great many more notes. But, since there are so many notes and so many combinations, we can think of a musical example for almost any interval relationship. That just came to mind. I don't know if it's even correct. But what I'm trying to get is this feeling of movement. And that's what I really like about these. So I'm going to see if I can get the shape basically going. And I might play that for a while. I'm warming up, so I'm going to be starting and stopping and so forth. But for me, it starts with keeping my ears and my musical imagination focused on the kind of like the life in the music. Now that may seem funny because this is an exercise, but you don't want to think of it as a drill or an exercise. You want to think of it as an expression. Now, if you've been watching any of my videos that I practice things in a lot of different ways. So I might be doing this, I would probably sing it. I'm not going to do that for you today, but I'm trying to get the feeling of the movement through the line. Then I might whistle it, I might buzz it on the mouthpiece. There are many ways to do this. But the idea is you're playing a continuous line. So a couple of tips. Listen for the quality of the sound, and not only on the notes, but between the notes. So I'm going to play another one. This is number this is the second variation on number 1. You can play these in any key, and that's something I can recommend to you. If I'll just take it up a step. This is number 1. I'm going to take up a step from what I just did, transposing. Right? You might notice that I'm playing a C, as I've said in a couple of other recent episodes. I need to get used to this horn, and I'm doing that right now. So the more I play it, the better. I'm going to transpose it. Now that feels different to me because the different fingerings, the notes are in a little bit different places, so the pitch relationships are different. I need to concentrate on different things, but I'm trying to do exactly the same musical thing. So I compare the two. Now in that key, when I go up a step, I notice I'm trying to control the notes with my lips a little bit more. I might be reacting to the pitch or the feel, reacting to something, and it doesn't feel quite as comfortable. And so tension starts to come into my system. So I go back and compare it to the first one. Oh, that's more comfortable, it's more graceful, it's smoother, it's more expressive. And I'm trying to get close. You may not be able to hear the little differences because many of the things that I'm experiencing are things that I'm feeling. So what I'm going to suggest to you when you're working on these is work both the inside and the outside. And this is a basic concept I use. Inside is your physical experience of what it is to play the instrument. It may be conscious or unconscious, but there's a lot going on in terms of your awareness of the body. So that's inside. Some people might be concentrating on their embouchure, you might be concentrating on how you're breathing, you might be concentrating on how you're holding the instrument, how much mouthpiece pressure you're using, and any of an unlimited number of things. And most of those things are going to be important, but you don't want your mind to get scattered. So this is why I keep on coming back to the musical expression. Now what happens here? Okay, I've experimented a little bit. I played the same thing over and over again, and then it changes. It changes in terms of tonality and the implied harmony that's there. So as you play these, you're going to hear a very simple form. Really try and hear the harmony. And that's what I was hearing as I'm playing these. Oh, there's a modulation that's taking place. Now, I'm not going to do the music theory analysis thing, although that can be valuable, and it's helpful to know the structure of the music. I'm actually doing something that's much more organic. I'm trying to taste it. What does it feel like to move from this harmony to that harmony? I was just listening to some of the Beatles music, which is some of my favorite music. Of course, that's my era. And they were so creative in what they were doing musically. When you get more deeply into it, it's really fascinating. And there's a tune, I can't remember which one it is. I can't recall right now, but it's going back and forth between major and minor and major and minor. And you don't even notice it. The melody is engaging, but it's constantly changing back and forth. It's like, wow, that is so cool. That's what we're trying to get here. And these are simple enough in their musical structure that it's possible to do that. So I hope you can experience that. Now, maybe you're not into that kind of stuff, but you can at least concentrate on the sound. So I want to explain a little bit what I mean. If I play the notes right where they are in the horn, if you have a really good horn, you're going to have a pretty even sound between the notes. And every note is going to sound with the same kind of timbre, the same kind of quality of sound in terms of the overtone structure, high, middle, and low overtones in the sound. The timbre, the expressive quality of the color of the sound, you might call it. And so that's one of the things that I'm listening for. Now, there are physical things that can cause problems with this, or it can be the instrument itself, or the combination of the instrument, the mouthpiece, and the way you're playing it gives you a certain result. But the main thing is really try and hear your best sound on all the notes. That's the simplest way of putting it. Let's see. I think I'll go down and play the next variation now. I hope you can tell that I'm trying to taste the notes. I'm giving myself time to taste them in terms of the way they feel, and then I'm switching to the outside. What does it sound like in the room? Now, many of you have noticed, and this is a big subject all unto itself, you point in a different direction, and you're going to get different sound information coming back to you. And you can probably hear I'm playing in a fairly large room, but if I move around, obviously I'm playing in a different direction relative to the mic. I'm going to be curious to see what that sounds like. And as you listen with curiosity. Don't listen to control it. Listen to what is the sound actually like. And you're getting part of the sound. It's reflected. You can't tell what it sounds like from the other side of the horn. That's one of the disadvantages. But you can feed on what's being reflected back to you. And see how even you can play that. If you're having trouble with it, don't blame it all on yourself. It might be problems with, as I said, with the instrument or the mouthpiece, or your inability to adapt to playing those as well as you could. Some people are super adapters. They can pick up an instrument and a mouthpiece. They could take your instrument, for example, and play it, and within a few seconds they'll figure out what they need to do in order to get the musical results that they want. I can name some names. Well, Winton is one, and I think that's pretty obvious. But it doesn't matter what instrument you have, is what can you, how much can you adapt to it, and how can you tell whether you're being successful? Because you can keep that sound even throughout. Now, I'm going to flip to the next one, and I'm going to go through these rather quickly, but I need some variety, and that's another thing I like about these. They're all different. You have 21. So you have 42 with both books together, and that's a lot of different little ditties that it's curious to play. So let's see what this one is. First thing I do is I look at it and hear it. Okay, so I played it through once. I have kind of an idea how it goes. Now there's some kind of different interval relationships. I had to pause a little bit and kind of find my way through it. So some of it's going to be pretty easy in terms of the way it sounds, and other ones your ear might go like, oh, what is that? Be honest with yourself about that. Go and see if you can da 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 da. If you can't sing it, produce the pitch from your mind accurately. Play it on the trumpet, see if you can imitate it. Play it on the trumpet, see if you can imitate it. Of course, I'm assuming you're playing the right notes on the trumpet. That's a good place to start. And pretty soon this pattern is going to be in your ear. So the principle will hold through for all these. I don't know how many of these I'll do. I know that I could get into much greater detail about actually how to play these better physically. And if I have a lot of comments from you folks about, show us how you do that. I'm going to start making those kinds of videos. But in this case, I'm telling you, you already know how to play the trumpet. In most cases, I'm assuming that's the case. And as you play through these, you're going to want to taste it, enjoy the experience, listen until you understand how the music is moving. See if you can get the expressive component that I mentioned earlier. Make sense out of it for yourself, and then get physically as comfortable as possible. Now, if you've been watching these videos, that I add a lot of variations. So I'm going to be playing these louder and softer, faster and slower, articulated in all kinds of various forms. Why don't I do that now? And I don't have my reading glasses on, so I have to kind of stumble through this, but I'm going to do all K articulation. Boy, I really can't see. Now you can hear I'm doing a really legato. So it's a very soft articulation with the K. I'll switch back to the keys. T articulation. See if I can get that same sound. So once I get the pattern, then I'm going to start playing with it. So I think you're starting to get the idea by now. Now, if you didn't like that, well, I didn't particularly like it either. I think, well, I want that articulation to be more crisp. Can I do that with a K? I don't know. I have to remember to wear the right glasses when I'm doing these. So, or, now, I realize some of you might not practice the K at all. It's a good idea. If you ever want to use it, you should probably practice it. And the idea is, when you're doing it really well, let me see if I'll pick another one here. Oh, that's going to be more difficult with the K. This is number 3. Instead of changing my glasses at the beginning, I decided to stick with this. And what it makes me do is really concentrate on hearing it, because I can't see it all that well. So I've said this before, but once you get this tune in your ear, you want to try and play it by memory. And go back and check the music periodically so you can make sure, well, oh yeah, I'm playing the right interval relationships. But that's really good for you. Now, when you're concentrating on playing by ear, you may be forgetting about how you're playing physically. And that's actually a great thing. Because when you're playing, whatever you're doing physically on the instrument, you want those the how-to of what you're doing it to be so ingrained, so automatic, that all you need to do is think the music and it comes out the horn. That's really the goal that we're going for here. So I apologize for the sloppy playing today. I'll try and do better next time. But in any case, I hope you've gotten some ideas from this and how to practice this and how to listen to some of these things. And most of all, I think you can see, even though I'm having trouble seeing it, I'm still having fun playing the melodic lines. I'm going to try one more, see if I can see it. So yeah, that was kind of fun, and it'll be even more fun when I can play it fluently, right? And that's where the practice comes in. Hopefully later on I'll play some that are a little bit more fun for you to listen to. I can have fun, but it's probably difficult for you to listen to this right now. You may have noticed one thing, and I'll mention this and then I'll let you go, but there's so many things happening when we play, as I said earlier. I'm just playing, I take a breath, and I'm playing continuously on that breath. And then when I run out of air, or I feel like I must take a breath, then I take a breath. And the reason why I do that, there is a method to my madness here, is not just that I forgot to take a breath and now I need to take one, but that when I take the breath, I want to see if the quality of the breath is like that. It's just so natural and easy when it comes in, even after I've played all the way to the end of the air. So that's a little thing that I throw into my playing a great deal, to kind of test myself all the time and see if I'm ready to take a comfortable breath. If I'm gasping or choking, or it takes me a long time to loosen up enough so that the air can come in, or if I'm making a lot of noise, if it catches in the throat, those are indications that I need to practice just playing a long tone, breathing, and then playing a long tone again. I'll throw some of those kinds of exercises in later on, but you can also apply them to anything that you play, and I find that I do this on continuous playing like this. Okay, thanks for your patience today. I wish I could have played a little bit better for you, but I hope you got something out of it and you're excited to practice this kind of thing. You can go right back to the Clark studies and do the same thing, but these are like enhanced versions that have a little bit more musical interest in them. So I hope you have fun with your work, and I'll see you when you have a little time to spend with me later on. Have a great day. Bye-bye.